How to get rich without anyone noticing. Here are 5 financial tricks on how to get rich without anyone noticing. What if I told you that the wealthiest people in America are completely invisible, while the individuals you perceive as rich are actually financially struggling, using outward displays of opulence to mask their deep financial desperation? Look, here's something that's going to blow your mind. Every person you see flashing luxury cars, designer clothes, and expensive vacations on social media is probably drowning in debt, while real millionaires drive 10-year-old Toyotas and shop at Costco. In this video, you're going to discover the exact 5 strategies that allow wealthy Americans to build fortunes completely under the radar. You'll learn why disappearing from social media actually accelerates your wealth, how to sacrifice like ancient merchants to guarantee financial freedom, and the secret protection system that shields your dreams from people who unconsciously want to destroy them. By the end, you'll know exactly how to become rich without anyone noticing until you choose to reveal it. If you're ready to build wealth in the shadows while others chase worthless validation, comment "Silent Wealth" right now, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Press the notification bell so you don't miss any videos from Mastering Money and Wealth. Thank you very much. Now, what I'm about to say is what makes the difference between people who build lasting fortunes and those who stay broke, trying to look successful. 1. The farmer's patience, cultivating long-term growth. I'm going to tell you something that's probably going to sting a little, but you need to hear it. You know why most people never build real wealth? It's not because they're stupid. It's not because they don't have good ideas. And it's definitely not because they don't work hard enough. It's because they give up right before the magic happens. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine 2 farmers at the beginning of planting season. The first farmer, let's call him instant gratification Leo, plants his seeds and checks them every single day. Day 3, nothing. Day 7, still nothing. Day 15, maybe a tiny sprout, but not the abundance he was expecting. By day 30, Leo's frustrated, digs up his seeds to see what's wrong, replants different seeds, then gets discouraged again, and eventually gives up farming altogether. The second farmer, patient Marcus, plants his seeds and waters them consistently. Day 3, nothing visible, but he keeps watering. Day 15, tiny sprouts, but he doesn't get excited or discouraged. Day 45, real growth starting. Day 90, small harvest. Year 2, better harvest. Year 5, abundance that makes Leo jealous when he drives by. Here's what Leo never understood, and what most Americans never understand about building wealth. The compound effect is invisible for years, then becomes unstoppable. Your first year of investing, boring. Your first business probably breaks even. Your first real estate investment, modest returns that don't seem worth the effort. But here's where it gets crazy. Warren Buffett made 99% of his wealth after age 50. Let that sink in. The richest investor in history was basically broke compared to his later wealth for the first half of his career. Why? Because compound growth starts slow and then goes exponential. Most people quit during the slow part. They see their $500 monthly investment grow to $6,000 after a year and think, "This is pointless. I'll never get rich this way." What they don't realize is that this same strategy turned into $50,000 in year 10, $200,000 in year 15, and over $1 million by year 25. The psychological reason people quit is simple. We're wired for immediate feedback. When you post on Instagram, you get likes instantly. When you buy something, you get the dopamine hit immediately. But wealth building works on nature's timeline, not social media's timeline. Here's your reality check. While you're quitting your 3rd business idea this year, someone else is on year 5 of their boring business, quietly building something that will make them a millionaire. While you're jumping between investment strategies, someone else is dollar cost averaging into index funds for the 10th year straight and building serious wealth. The ancient farmers knew something modern Americans forgot. Harvest time comes to those who plant, water, and wait, not to those who plant, check, doubt, replant, and quit. Wait. The most important part is in the following story about why the sacrifices wealthy people make would shock most Americans who think success should be comfortable. 2. The merchant's sacrifice, the true cost of freedom. All right, let's get real for a minute. Everyone says they want to be rich, But when I ask people what they're willing to give up to get there, suddenly the conversation gets very quiet. You want the lifestyle, but do you want the life it takes to create that lifestyle? Here's a story that's going to make you uncomfortable. Picture two merchants in ancient times, both starting with the same amount of money, both dreaming of dominating the next trading season. Merchant number one, let's call him weekend warrior Ethan, hears that the big trading season starts in 6 months. He thinks perfect, plenty of time. So, what does he do? Friday nights, he's out at the tavern with friends. Saturday mornings, he's sleeping in. Sunday afternoons, he's relaxing because everyone deserves work-life balance. He shows up to trading season with the same basic goods as everyone else. No special relationships, no deep knowledge of what customers actually want. Merchant number two, Sacrifice Owen, hears the same news about the trading season, but his response is completely different. While weekend warrior Ethan is at the tavern, Owen is studying which goods sold best last season. While weekend warrior Ethan is sleeping in, Owen is visiting workshops, learning how products are made, and building relationships with craftsmen. While weekend warrior Ethan is relaxing on Sundays, Owen is traveling to neighboring towns, understanding what people actually need and can't find. When trading season arrives, guess what happens? Weekend warrior Ethan shows up with generic stuff that 30 other merchants are also selling. He makes modest profits, enough to get by, but nothing life-changing. Owen shows up with exactly what customers have been wanting, relationships with the best suppliers and knowledge nobody else has. He doesn't just make money, he dominates. Here's what most Americans don't understand about wealth building. Every wealthy person I know gave up their 20s and 30s so they could own their 40s and beyond. While their friends were binge-watching Netflix, they were learning new skills. While others were going to happy hour, they were building side businesses. While everyone else was taking weekend trips, they were working on projects that would eventually buy them freedom. I'm not saying you need to become a monk, but understand this. Your Friday night Netflix binge is a choice. Your Saturday morning sleep-in is a choice. Your Sunday afternoon me time is a choice. And wealthy people consistently choose differently. The math is brutal, but simple. If you spend 20 hours a week building wealth for 10 years, you'll have 10,000 hours of focused effort toward financial freedom. If you spend 20 hours a week watching TV and scrolling social media, you'll have 10,000 hours of nothing that helps your future self. The question isn't whether you'll sacrifice your time. You're already sacrificing it. The question is what you're sacrificing it for. But that's just the surface. What's behind it is what will startle people about why sharing your wealth-building dreams with the wrong people can literally poison your motivation and destroy your chances of success. 3. The wise builder's silence, protecting the vision. Okay, I need to tell you something that might hurt your feelings, but it could save your financial future. That person you just told about your big money-making idea, there's a good chance they just killed it without you even realizing it. Let me tell you a story that's been passed down for thousands of years. Two builders both dream of constructing magnificent buildings that will make them wealthy and famous. The first builder, let's call him Tell Everyone Victor, is so excited about his vision that he can't contain himself. He tells his family at dinner, posts about it on social media, and shares his blueprints with anyone who will listen. And what does he hear? That's way too ambitious for someone like you. What if it fails? You'll lose everything. Nobody's ever built anything like that around here. Each comment is like a tiny poison dart. Victor starts second-guessing himself. Maybe they're right. Maybe it is too big. 6 months later, Victor's grand building exists only in his imagination because the dream was criticized to death. The second builder, Silent Neil, has the exact same vision, but he keeps his mouth shut. He quietly studies architecture, secretly saves money for materials, and discreetly builds relationships with skilled craftsmen who can help him. When people ask what he's up to, he just says, working on some projects, no details, no big announcements, no validation seeking. 2 years later, when Neil's magnificent building is completed and generating serious income, Victor asks him, "Where did this come from? How did you do this?" Neil smiles and says, "I've been working on it for a while. Here's what I've learned after watching hundreds of people either build wealth or stay broke. The moment you share a dream with someone who doesn't have the vision to see it, you give them permission to shrink your dream down to their comfort level. Most people, even people who love you, are unconsciously threatened by your success. They protect their ego by convincing you and themselves that your idea won't work. The psychological research on this is devastating. Studies show that simply talking about your goals can give you a premature sense of accomplishment that actually reduces your motivation to achieve them. Your brain gets the dopamine hit from people's reactions and thinks, mission accomplished, even though you haven't done the work yet. Wealthy people understand this instinctively. They don't announce their investment strategies. They don't broadcast their business ideas. They don't seek validation for their financial plans. They just quietly execute while everyone else is still talking. Protect your wealth-building dreams like state secrets. Only share them with people who are already where you want to be or who have skin in the game helping you get there. Don't jump to conclusions, because what comes next can change your perspective completely about why the people who look the richest are often the brokest, and vice versa. 4. The invisible crown, choosing substance over show. Here's something that's going to mess with your head. The guy driving the beat-up Honda Civic might be worth more than the person pulling up in the brand-new BMW. I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me because this might be the most important financial lesson you'll ever learn. Let me tell you an ancient story about two kings. The first king, Flashy Robert, inherits a wealthy kingdom and immediately wants everyone to know how powerful he is. Golden robes, elaborate feasts, and the biggest palace in the region. Every decision is about showing off his wealth. The problem, all that showing off costs money, lots of money. Within a few years, Robert's kingdom is secretly broke. But he can't stop the lifestyle because his entire identity is built on looking wealthy. The second king, humble David, inherits the same wealth, but takes a completely different approach. Simple clothes, modest meals, and a life in a comfortable but not extravagant palace. Everyone thinks he's kind of boring, but here's what they don't see. David is investing the money Robert spends on appearances, building infrastructure, developing trade relationships, and accumulating assets that generate more wealth. Fast forward 10 years, Robert's kingdom collapses because it was all show and no substance. David's kingdom becomes the most powerful in the region because real wealth was growing quietly in the background. This is happening all around you in modern America. The person posting vacation photos from Europe, they probably put it on credit cards. The neighbor with the Mercedes in the driveway, likely a lease they can barely afford. Meanwhile, the real millionaires are invisible. They drive paid-off cars until the wheels fall off. They shop at Costco and clip coupons. They live in houses that are nice, but not impressive. They look normal, boring even. Here's why. Every dollar you spend on looking wealthy is a dollar that can't work to make you actually wealthy. It's simple math. That $800 monthly BMW payment invested at 8% annual returns becomes $1.2 million over 30 years. But driving the BMW, you've got nothing to show for it except a depreciating asset and years of payments. The psychology is fascinating. People who feel insecure about their wealth spend money to prove they have it. People who are actually wealthy don't need to prove anything to anyone. They've discovered something most Americans never learn. The ultimate luxury is not needing to impress anyone. True wealth whispers while fake wealth screams. The richest person I know drives a 2010 Toyota Camry and wears jeans from Walmart. But he owns 3 rental properties, has a 7-figure investment portfolio, and could retire tomorrow if he wanted to. The question is, do you want to look rich or be rich? Because you can't do both at the same time. It sounds simple, but the hardest part is what's about to be told next. Most people sabotage their wealth not through big purchases, but through a daily habit that drains their focus and energy from what actually matters. 5. The monk's discipline, the power of disappearance. I'm about to share something that might be the hardest pill to swallow in this entire video, but it could completely transform your financial life. You ready? You need to disappear. Not forever, but long enough to build something real while everyone else is busy performing their fake success online. Let me tell you about 2 monks who entered the same monastery on the same day, both seeking wisdom and inner wealth. The first monk, Attention Alex, was obsessed with being seen as spiritual and wise. He made sure everyone noticed when he was meditating. He constantly asked the master for feedback on his progress. He spent his free time talking to other monks about his insights and revelations. He craved recognition for every small step forward. Years passed, and Alex remained exactly where he started, spiritually and financially poor, always seeking external validation for internal work. The second monk, Silent Chris, took a completely different approach. He disappeared into deep practice. No social updates about his spiritual journey, no seeking praise from the master, not comparing himself to other monks, just pure focused work on developing his inner wealth. For years, nobody paid attention to Chris because there was nothing flashy to notice. Then one day, after 5 years of silence, Chris emerged from his practice as a completely transformed person. Other monks couldn't believe the wisdom and inner peace he radiated. Here's what Alex never understood, and what most Americans never understand about building wealth. Breakthrough happens in the shadows, not in the spotlight. Every minute you spend posting about your hustle is a minute not spent actually hustling. Every hour you spend crafting the perfect LinkedIn post about your business journey is an hour not spent building the business. Every notification you respond to is focus stolen from the deep work that actually creates wealth. Social media has turned wealth building into performance art. People spend more time documenting their journey than actually making progress on it. They're addicted to the instant gratification of likes and comments instead of the delayed gratification of compound growth. The wealthiest people I know are ghosts on social media. They're not posting motivational quotes, they're executing strategies. They're not sharing their morning routine. They're using that time to work on projects that will generate income for decades. The brutal truth: your breakthrough is hiding behind your need for validation. The energy you're burning on social performance is the exact energy you need for wealth creation. You can't build an empire while you're busy convincing people you're building an empire. The solution isn't to delete social media forever, but to go completely dark while you're in your wealth building phase. Disappear now, emerge rich later. That's the ancient discipline that separates builders from broadcasters. These 5 strategies work together to create wealth that grows invisibly until you're ready to reveal it.